My design is made up of two images you can see on screen, the first being the background image and the logo as my foreground image. With both of them selected, I go to the Layout menu and select See-Through Sign Wizard. I now confirm I have read the license agreement and click Next, and then select the single-sided sign on white vinyl and again click Next. In the Sign Layout window, I select the drop-down and choose the image to be used as the background, and then repeat this process and select my foreground image. I can now click Next. In this window, I am asked to select if I would like to use the same pattern across all objects within my image. My final design will look like this, with no gaps running through the foreground image, to give the overall design greater impact. Therefore, I need to uncheck this box here to prevent the see-through stripes being applied to my top image. To create a design where the lines are applied globally across all the objects, you would need to ensure this box was ticked. Now I need to set the various properties for the stripes and gaps. The size you make these will largely depend on the overall finished size of your image. My design will be printed reasonably large on the rear glass of a vehicle, so I'm going to set my stripes and gaps to the equal size you see on screen. If you're producing your image much smaller or larger, then adjust the size of the gaps to suit. The lines on this design are going to run horizontally to the image, however this angle can be changed by entering a value here. The stripe lines that are applied to the image will start from the baseline and work up, however it's possible to specify an offset so that they are brought in from this edge. To do this, simply enter an offset value here. The value is set as a percentage of the line width that's been previously specified. I'm going to enter a weed border width of 5mm and the same for the offset. Take a look at this example to see how this will affect the finished job. The weed border width extends my cut lines past the printed area, and the offset I entered extends the overall weed border around the whole design. By doing this, it will make the weeding process far simpler, as I can basically grab one corner and remove all the waste sections in one piece rather than many separate ones. Lastly, here a cut line colour can be applied. This can be changed to make the finished lines easier to see against the printed image, or if you are outputting the job through a third-party RIP that requires a specific colour to be used to recognise cut paths. Okay, clicking Next will take me on to the foreground stripe settings. Here I have the option to apply different settings to the selected foreground object. Selecting None will apply no lines through the highlighted object, while selecting this second option will allow me to apply lines through the foreground object and also specify the thickness of those lines here. For this design, I want to leave the foreground object solid for maximum impact. However, I'd like a border around the image, so I need to select this third option and then specify a border width. Lastly, I'm unchecking Prevent lines from back group being applied to holes in my front group. This will ensure that lines being applied to my background image continue through existing gaps in my foreground image. Look at this example here. If I check this box, the lines through the image are not seen through the holes in the letter B. This is a simple choice of personal preference, but I find the foreground image stands out better with this option unchecked. Okay, I can now click Next and then Finish, and the image is then ready to produce. For this example, using a separate printer and cutter, although production on a composite device would work just as well. The end results speak for themselves here. My design is not only far more interesting, but it will also offer a practical solution for many working environments.